Well, that pretty much solidifies the fact that I have the worst luck when it comes to enchanting ever. Real quick, before we actually get into today's episode, I want to show off this real quick. This is the Redstone machine I made for the St. Patrick's Day special. Basically what it does is it'll send a very short pulse into a clock, which will keep running, sending a pulse to this, which will update the piston under it, causing another short pulse. It's basically this right here. Just once you hit this, this will go up, killing the pulse very quickly. And each time this gets pulsed from the clock, it'll send out 3 different pulses at 3 different times because of the repeaters here to each of the dispensers that had a thing in it. And this is basically a OR switch to where if one's working, it'll cut off, and where the other one's working. Yeah, it's kind of broken. I didn't really put too much effort into making it the off switch actually work very well, but hey. So there's that. Now let's get into today's episode because it is going to be a huge one. Okay, so we're over here. The last thing I need, which by the way, this is about what you're going to need if you attempt to make the project that I'm going to make today. This is about the amount of stuff you'll need. And the last thing I need to make actually is some powered rails. I need 6 exactly. And man, would you look at how lucky this is? Bam, it makes exactly 6. So yeah. Today we're gonna make a charcoal generator. I've been working on it for a while. I've got it about perfect. And yeah, also I did a little different stuff with the barn. That 3 pulse tick thing that I was showing you with the fireworks display thing, yeah, I think I've already incorporated that into a design with my semi-automatic farming, which makes it to where all you have to do is plant the seeds and hit one button and it does everything for you. So yeah, 2 steps, and I'll probably go over that maybe in the next episode. I'll do a quick recap on it, but today, yeah, I'm gonna cut ahead to where we need to be. Creepers. Okay. I had to give some seeds to that chicken over there. That's why it's in love. Don't come over here, you dumbass. I don't want to have more items on me than I need. So go away. You know what? Let's just eat the chicken. We'll get sick, but hey, whatever. Wow, we didn't get sick. Rare. To start off, what we're going to need to do is, well, technically, we need to place a hopper in the air, 1 thing above the ground. And is this about where I want it to be? Yeah, this is about where I want it to be. So, bam. And we're gonna kill this real quick. I should have brought a better pickaxe, since this is the only one I have and it has 18 uses left to it. And I'm probably gonna be needing it a lot more than I think. So I probably I'm gonna have to cut to go back and get that. Alright, so basically what I'm doing now is I'm setting up the bare essentials to it. You need to have the 3 hoppers. Oh, sorry. 4 hoppers attached to 1 furnace. Alright, and we're done. See you next time, guys. No, I'm just kidding. Wood's going to go in here, and coal is going to go in here. And now comes the fun part. This is going to be a very redstone intensive episode. Now, what we need to happen is once you put the coal in here, it'll cycle through and go into this slot. If you put the wood up here, I'm going to put a chest on top of this. When you put the wood in the chest, it'll go through the hopper and it'll appear here. And then anything that appears here will go into this hopper. Now, we want it to continually refill itself, since 1 charcoal is just like regular coal. It'll do 8 things. So each time wood comes in here, we're going to have it go through here and then go back up into here, which you could do using dispensers, but where's the fun in that? And also you can make a smarter system with what I'm going to do. And it'll continually power it. It's pretty interesting. So step number 1 is we have to set up a rail to get it up to this block or to get the cart up onto this hopper so it can empty out. So we have to set up some powered rails here. If you see me cut away randomly, it's probably because I had to check to make sure my design's right. And yeah, I'm gonna cut away real quick because I have to go get a better pick. This one's gonna break immediately. Okay, I got my better pick now. So let's set this up. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe is about where I need it to be. Then we need to build our way up, which is the interesting part. Did I do this wrong already? Yeah, I totally did. I totally did. This all needs to be over 1. And you'll see why in just a second. Let's see, put that there. And bam, bam, bam. Since powered rails can't really go up, or can't really turn on the... Is this? Yeah, I gotta knock this one out too. Whoops, not that. Ugh, I'm all over the place. Since powered rails can't turn and go up like regular rails can, what we have to do is we have to put a powered rail, then do a regular rail, and then do another set of powered rails, and then we can do that there, and the last powered rail needs to go here. And the reason I have this off to the side here is because for a powered rail to work, there has to be a solid block behind it to push the cart. So this has to be here, so when this gets powered, it'll actually work. And a little tip for Redstone users, using levers is a lot more cost efficient than using, whoops, these need to be on the inside, than using redstone torches. So we can power both of these. All these are powered now. And just so we can, just for purposes of testing, let's test this out. It'll go all the way up. And we'll push it down just so we don't have to place a lever. And it'll go all the way down. And if that wasn't powered, it would stay here. Alright, that's the first step. Now we need to get into the redstone bit. This is where it gets a little interesting. We want it to detect if there's ever anything that goes through... Oh, God, I don't know where to start with this. It's such a confusing design. We'll start with the retrieval system. Anytime, like I said, that the charcoal is finished being quote-unquote smelted, it'll go into this hopper. So we want this to be picked up. But we want the cart to stay down here as long as there's coal in here. And once the last piece of coal is out, we want it to go back up. And to do that, we're going to need to start using some comparators. I have 10 comparators here. Hopefully that'll be enough. I know it is. So we're going to put this here. And do this. Have this here. Now, if there's even one piece in here, this will activate, and it will power this redstone, which will turn this torch off. And we're going to run the torch. Oh, crap. Forgot about that. And we're going to run the torch all the way down here to this powered rail. Since there's nothing in there, it's powered. So let's put something in there real quick, like, I don't know, some gunpowder. Now that it's powered, it's off. And when we bring the cart down here, whoops, let me jump up here. Go down and get it. It'll take the 2 and then go back up, and now it's empty again. Excellent. Alright, let's move on to the next part. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of redstoning so I don't have to show myself doing it on screen as much. I know it's supposed to be a teaching experience, but hey, you gotta take some things and do it differently. Okay, the next step we want to do is if there's a backup, which means the entire hopper's full down there and the furnace is full. And to do that, I'm going to do a little trick here. Well, not really a trick. I don't know why I keep saying trick. Well, I guess there's a trick involved to where a comparator is going to get sent out of here. And I'll explain why I'm doing a double comparator here in a little while when we get to the near end of this. Let's do this here. We need to get our redstone. Pow, 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 pow. And it'll come down and it'll power this block, which I also have a manual thing here if I want to send it down. Pick up the items and then come back up. Once this gets full, it'll go into this comparator, blah blah blah. And let's see, how do I do this right? Okay. And similarly to kind of what we did over there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of redstone here. Shoot, this is where we need our first breaker block. And when I say breaker block, that's what I call it. That's why I have the black wool here. It's to show that we're going to be breaking the circuit. I'm going to place this right here so it'll break the circuit. And I didn't need this block right here, so I guess I can knock that out. Now, what I'm doing right here is a little trick to make comparators only work if whatever they're comparing is at full strength. Let me jump up here and show you real quick, because this right here is a full strength signal. This is getting pushed through here and getting pushed through here. So these two are always going to be the same strength for now. And once again, I'll tell you why I'm putting this over here later. So if this is completely full, which means this has to be completely filled with charcoal, and this has to be completely filled like, whoops, oh, damn it, forgot about shift. If this, and this are all full, it'll go up here, travel across, and power this block, and sending it back down. Alright, so there's that next step. Okay, I'm sorry if this is hard to follow, by the way. This is my first, like, really big redstone contraption that I've built in Minecraft Survival. And you know what? I need to put this chest down. It's gonna bug me that it's not here. This is the chest that we're gonna put the wood in to turn into charcoal. Alright, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna test to see whether or not this is empty. Well, we're gonna take this out for now. Because if this is empty, then no charcoal is going in there to smelt the wood that we need. But also, we only want, well, first off, I'm saying why we're going to check it first is if it's empty, it needs to send a pulse to send the cart down to get more coal and take it up. But we only want it to go down there if this is empty and this has stuff in it. So what I've done is over here, I've got everything set up the way it needs to be. These 3 blocks, we're going to create an AND gate, which is simply this with a torch, or with redstone in the middle. Now, the only way this will be powered is if this and this are unpowered. So, we need to do a double check for that. And the first check we're going to have is if this has power in it. I've moved this to be because it takes up less room, and I'm also gonna add something on this way, so it needs to be here. If this is powered, which means there's nothing in it, it'll go up here, bam, and the power will flow into, whoops, actually we don't need this top one here. Do we? No, okay, because we're gonna put this here. The power will flow up here, unpowering this torch, meaning this block right here, signified with red being it's a powered block, will not have any power going into it. Therefore, this won't be working and this will be on. So if there's something in here, for example, if we put the gunpowder in here, it will turn this block on and unpowering that. And then the next check needs to be, this is a long one, we got to go all the way over here, and the second block break we have right here is to cut this circuit, so that's not messing anything up. All the way down here, we need a comparator. Where's my comparators? There they are. Do this, check it here, and just like below where we were checking to make sure if there's something in there, as long as there's something in here, this won't be powered. So as long as there's at least one piece of coal in here, this won't be powered, and of course this gets sent all the way over here, unpowering this. And since there is something in the bottom there, and there's nothing in that hopper over there, both of these get turned off, causing this to get turned on, and this is where we need a repeater. So we can cut the circuit here, so it's not doing that. And we put this redstone here, which creates a second way. This will get sent down there, and of course now there's nothing in that bottom hopper, so that turns back on, and there's something in that second hopper since you have to manually put gunpowder into a furnace, even though it won't do anything. So yeah, this is turned off in both ways, and that is how we're going to check to make sure to refill the furnace. Hopefully that didn't go over your heads. I'm trying to explain this as best as I can. Whoa, little lag spike there. Let's see, what do we got? So we got this, checking to make sure there's at least something in there, and it'll power this when there's not anything in there. And when that's the case, it'll get sent up here if there is something in there. And yeah, I think I've explained it as well as I can so far. Once it gets all said and done, I'll go over it one last time. And let's see, what's the next part I want to do? Aha, got it. Okay, so sorry if the quality randomly changed or something through there, because I had 2 instances of Minecraft open, and it did not like that at all. So yeah. Anyway, the next thing we want to check is, we're gonna have, if we chop up just tons and tons of trees and we're just feeding this thing tons and tons of wood, there's the chance that this slot right here is gonna get full. You can't see my mouse. I figured that out, but I haven't fixed it yet. It takes a little bit of work. Not really, but still, I'm lazy. But this coal slot down here, if it's filled and this is all filled, see, we don't want all this to be filled because we kind of want access to the coal. We don't want to have to like jump down here, reach into that. So we kind of want to stop this at a reasonable level. And the magic number here is 23. Technically 24 plus the 64 that's in here. Anyway, and then if there's at least 23 in here, then all the rest of the coal will stay in here minus 1 in the 64 that's in there. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to run a line down this way. We need to, let's see, set this up here. Actually, wait. Okay, sorry, I had to look at my other design. And you might be thinking, why do you keep looking at your other design? This is a design I actually made up. I've never seen anyone do this before. I've not looked up any other tutorials. I mean, who wants to do a flippin' charcoal generator tutorial anyway? And that's me. This is my design. I thought it up, and I'm putting it to use. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm setting up another powered redstone block, but this one's a little bit different since it's not going to be. Well, I guess not really. It's not really that different, but it actually needs a repeater right here for it to work, because I don't, for some reason, in my snapshot test world, of course, this was made between tons of snapshots, so the thing was broken most of the time. What we wanted to do, ultimately, is make it over here to this dropper right here. Let's break this out. And the reason is, when that gets to about 23, it's going to send a redstone signal into that hopper. And when you power a redstone hopper, it doesn't take any coal through, or any items through. It just kind of stops. It's the stopper. That was terrible. Yeah. And that's what's going to stop it from holding all our coal. But another thing we need to do is we need to make sure it's going to be out of the way of the track here. And to do that, I don't have this right. This is supposed to go out one more. Yeah, this is supposed to go out one more. Alright, well, let's take it out one more. Sorry, I got really confused there for a second. Okay, here's what it needs to be. Once there's 23 items in here, it's going to power this block, and that's going to send a signal all the way over here to this hopper, stopping it from taking any more items or pushing any items through. And of course, when that happens, all the charcoal that's in here will stay here, and once, say, if there's 64 in there and it uses up a piece of charcoal, another one will get sent through here, the one that's in there will get sent in here, and one more will be taken out of here. So it'll work like that for the longest time, and it won't ever go all the way down there because there's going to be stuff in here powering this, sending it all the way over there, so that one's going to be off unless this is completely, well, there it goes. And here it comes. And let's see, there's only a few more things I want to add to it. And once I'm done with that, I'll take you guys into my new snapshot test world, and I can explain it a little better there since that one's fully working. And I'm going to do this one on cam since it's very easy to do. If we're just starting the machine, like there's nothing already in here, it's going to be going back and forth, and it's going to be really annoying, and it might actually not work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create sort of a halt switch right here. I'm going to add a lever, and I'm going to change this right here to a comparator. And just like before, when this is on, when this is on, it's going to be sending a full signal here, which it's not going to be getting a full signal out of there no matter what because it's going to travel this far. And this will halt it from starting that. So yeah, at the very beginning, this switch is going to be a little important because of the fact that we don't want it to just keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. We'll let it get a few things of charcoal in there, and then we'll turn it back on, and it can go down there and then run that way. The next thing I want to do is another little interesting trick. This is a trick I thought up. It's probably been done hundreds of times before, and it's also the reason why I have flint in my inventory. What I want to do is I want there to be an indicator for if there's not enough wood in here or we're out of coal, but it's going to be the fact that we're out of wood. I want there to be an indicator for when we're out of wood. So to do that, I think it needs to be out one more. Yeah, it needs to be out one more. And this is why I have this furnace on me. Let's put this furnace right here. We're going to put a comparator behind that. Put this here and go into there. And let's see. It's going to be checking for the magic number I found for this is 64 items up here and 5 items down here. And once this gets to be about, you know, it's got 69 items, LOLs, that works perfectly. It's going to send a redstone signal out because, of course, it has to match whatever this is or be stronger than it since it's going into that way. Comparators are weird like that. And, of course, if it's all the way full, it's going to be going through this one into this one, and then, of course, you know, that whole thing. And, yeah. So when that gets powered, I want this to trigger, at least I think. And let me do this real quick. Let me go check my test world. Okay, that was dumb of me. I don't know why I was saying that it'll power this. This will stay powered until this has enough in it to at least get to here, and then when it gets full, it'll hit this one. So it's a gradual process. And then what I want to do is what you do. Where is it? Where are my repeaters? We're going to have a repeater here. Oh, I can't jump because there's a block there. And that'll get powered here. And then you can put like a light here. You can run a wire. You can do a redstone torch elevator up to a light to signify that there's not enough items in here to be fully functioning. So whether it be not enough wood, which is generally what it's going to be since this is going to have tons of charcoal in it at all times. And I'm going to move this eventually. So yeah, that'll power that. So if we had a redstone lamp here, that's going to happen. And real quick, I'm going to run around to the back and the reason why I cut this one out is because I want another indicator, and this one's gonna be interesting. How did I have this? Whoops, just like this. You've seen me do this trick 100 times now in this episode, and you're gonna see it one last time. Except for there's something new about this one in the fact that when this is all the way full, it's gonna send power through here. I don't know how to explain this one. This one's confusing to explain, at least. This is all the way full. It's gonna send in here. But we want to send the same exact signal, so we want to turn this into a repeater that only sends the specific signal. Okay, I apologize. This is probably the most confusing episode you've ever seen, but it'll all make sense once I show you the actual version, because we're done now with this. Everything's done. What I meant, this needed to be one over, and there needs to be a third comparator here, because here's what's going to happen. If this is full, or okay, it doesn't matter what's coming out of here, it's going to hit this one. And it's going to get repeated at the exact same signal. So if there's only one thing in there, it's going to be a very weak signal. This is only going to repeat the weak signal. And once it gets to be completely full, it'll go into this comparator, and since it needs to be a full thing to go through, this will get powered, and you can power another light, signifying that this is full. So I'm starving to death. If there's coal in there, but this is full down here, the indicator light, you could be like, oh, we'll just go get the coal, and you can turn this on. Might turn that into a button, and it'll go down, get the coal, and bring it back up. Alright, now I'm going to jump into my test worlds, and hopefully this will all come together and make sense. Okay, so here we have the final working version. Come on, there we go. And I have my indicator lights here. There's nothing in there, so that's not getting powered, and there's not enough wood in there to be sustained, so this one is getting powered. Everything works as the way it should. There's going to be tons of charcoal in here. You put the wood in here, it goes down into the furnace and gets turned into charcoal this way. There's 64 there's 64 in there, so that's full. Come over here. You can check there's 23 waiting in the wings, which means this is all powered, which powers this hopper holding the one piece of charcoal in there. Tons of charcoal in here. You could do this, run down, and get the coal out of here, but there is no charcoal down here, so it's just immediately gonna go back up. And I think that's everything explained, except for if this is empty and there's charcoal down there, it'll get sent over there. And of course I have the halt switch here. And I want to say thanks for watching, guys, and I'm sorry how confusing this was, but if you build it exactly the way I did, which is hard to follow, it's a self-sustaining system. Why do I have that there? I should probably put a repeater there because that's probably there for a reason. Anyway, but if you build it exactly like this, it should sustain itself very well. Like, you could leave it running all the time and it'll fix itself. It's set in a very specific way to where if something's empty and needs to be refilled, and it can be refilled, it will refill it. So yeah, all you have to do is throw your wood in here and your first source of fire in here, which is charcoal. And of course, if you throw anything in this chest besides charcoal, it's gonna break. So that's the only thing that you can do to pretty much break this. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Sorry if it was confusing again.